Evening, folks. Oh. Right. Oh, blimey. Suddenly loads of messages. So I'm just sharing this out. Bear with me 2 seconds. That one. That one. Right, there we go. I'm shared. You may notice I am alone this evening because Ella's not very well. So she's probably going to be watching upstairs and telling me off for not sharing links and things like that. Need to do sound dishwasher on. No, it's not. It's the pan behind me just sizzling away. Can't do the sound on Zoom, so it's set. The pan's getting quieter because it was sizzling high. It's got my dinner in there actually. I've got 2 duck breasts in there. I thought I'd have enough time to eat before we started, but unfortunately not. Anyway, evening everybody. Evening Jane. Evening. What's in the pan? Duck. I just told you that, Dan. You're not listening. 2 duck breasts. I'll show you in a minute. Well, where's Ella? Yeah, I'll show you in a minute. I'm just letting it finish cooking. I've seared it on skin side. And I've just got it on the other side, just cooking slowly. I'll give it 10 minutes and then I'll get it out. Anyway, yes, I'm here by myself this evening, so be gentle. Don't ask anything too taxing or intelligent because I haven't got Ella with me. She's been struggling with a bit of a cold for, I think, the last 3 days. Hit her pretty hard, actually. So she can't talk without coughing lots. So how are we all? Hi, Lulu. Hi, Tony. Hi, Sheila. How's the week gone for you all? We've got no launches tonight. Just a little bit behind on that. Maybe over the weekend, there's something. So I'll let Ella tell you about those maybe on Sunday. Not sure how keto is, but say something with pork, chopped mushrooms, and one of these. That's fine. Yeah, pork chop, mushrooms, melted cheese. Yeah, all good. You know, my breakfast this morning was a chunk of cheese and some chicken liver pate. You know, worked for me. First day of work, Alan. Excellent. I think I'm on my reoccurring 7,000th day at work. Been a busy week, as usual. Tucker's lot, hand pink waving. I love that when the emojis don't come through properly. Obviously, there's comments on both YouTube and Facebook. If you're watching on one, you won't see the other comments. If there's anything interesting, I will highlight it. I'm in charge of the mouse tonight. Look, I've moved up the level of importance. Not that your comments are not interesting. It's just that they're usually "Oh duck" and "Get well, Ella." So come on then. If tonight is our regular Friday Q&A. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Come and jump in. Otherwise, you need to keep me entertained for a little while. Right, so missed you guys. Where have you been, Gillian? Where have you been? Workout was good once I got it started. I heard there were some problems. I haven't been in touch with anyone properly today. I think I just saw a comment. And Zoom isn't being very helpful at the moment. No, I'm not showing you just YouTube channel comments, Dan, because, don't need to see them all. Yes, I do know how to use it. You're all right. So just made a mega loaf from the mix. It looks good. I added walnut and rosemary. Joe, I've never done that with that loaf. Obviously, I do a variety of different flavored ones now. So the olive, chili, tomato, and the cheese mite. Cheese mite has been very popular. There's a lot of you enjoy your cheese and marmite together. Do we need to adjust anything if I add stuff in future? Not really. No. No, there's no need. Certainly with dry ingredients, you're not adding much. I mean, you'd have to add a significant amount of more seed to worry about, or herb to worry about adding more volume, more liquid. So no, I wouldn't do that. I tend to use the same recipe for the plain low carb loaf and then add the seasonings in. So no, I don't adjust the water volume, the value at all. Well done, Gillian. Hang on, we'll highlight this one. Where's the mouse? Show. No, that's the wrong one. You moved up. I have to be quick. There you go. That's what. There you go, Dan. There's your Facebook comment. Right. Okay. Julia, I actually use the yeast extract. I don't use Marmite. I can't remember what's in it that we don't like, as in there's an ingredient in there. Someone has to tell me. Kerry will pop in maybe at some point. So yes, we use yeast extract. It's exactly what I use. So yes, shop book yeast extract is cleaner. I can't remember what's in it in the original Marmite. Any yeast extract. I mean, I just look at the label, but I've used the stuff from, I think it was Aldi or Lidl's. It's easy because when I make a batch, it's one jar to make an entire. I think you're right actually, Lulu. Thank you. It's wheat in with the Marmite. So I use a jar because it's about, I think it's 250 grams. And there's 10 grams of yeast extract per loaf. So I use one jar to go into the entire loaf. Does the mega loaf need to be kept in the fridge? I made one instead of two. Yes, it's got no preservatives in it, and it's a high moisture. So the difference between homemade bread and store-bought bread, or the bread that we make, which we add vitamin C. If you're making one at home, which is a preservative, and apple cider vinegar, another preservative. But if you're making it at home, you're not adding any preservatives. Now, when you have fresh food, which is what the low-carb loaf is, and it's high hydration, it's prone to go off quickly. So with ours, with the VITC and with the ACV, you get about 5 days. But it does still need to be kept in a fridge or in a very cool place. You will not, and bread is not meant to last 2 weeks. That's the reason why store-bought bread lasts that long. Is just read the additives that are in there to stop it from going off. There are mold inhibitors in there. There are all sorts of different additives in there to sort of stop it from going hard and moldy. So yes. Fridge it if you're going to eat it in a couple of days. Freeze it if you're only eating it over a couple of weeks. Slice it, freeze it. It takes seconds to defrost. Even the rolls, you can just pop them in a Ninja or pop them in the oven, and they defrost in just a couple of minutes. So yeah, don't waste your effort by thinking that it's shop bought bread. because shop-bought bread really isn't bread. It's just a collection of chemicals that look like bread. I'm enjoying my coffee, by the way, folks. Number 4. No. Number 8. Sue, have you seen the new Starbucks range in Morrison's? It's their house blend. Not an advert, by the way, folks. I mean, I just drink coffee. So it's the house blend, graded as number 8. Really nice. Really, really good. So it's a medium roast. I have got some of the dark roast. Hi, Fee. I've got some of the dark roast beans, but this is great. I have this just in the jar and straight into the coffee machine. There's no faff. Don't have to get the grinder out. Really good. Really, really good. Morrison's have got a deal on it at the moment. I think it's something like £3 a packet. So, yes. Wow, indeed. Yeah, and actually, it's funny. I mean, I watched some very random videos, mostly about bread making, which is weird. We should be at 59 degrees, Gemma. I've been holding it, so it's red, so it's going to be low. Granary bread or any of the grain breads, supermarket breads, have to have even more dough conditioners and additives because it doesn't rise naturally. It's quite a solid bread. So granary, as much as it's heralded as sort of healthier because it's made of seeds, because it doesn't rise as well as white bread, they actually have to use even more in the way of additives to get it to rise like real bread. Or like whatever. It's white again at Gemma. It's fine. Yeah, it's white again. It's it means it's 59 degrees. So yeah, she's not well today, Gemma. She's gone back to bed. Do you know, I was watching a video this morning, and it was about using gluten. Hi, Miriam. Using gluten in sort of standard breads. Standard bread is quite. If you use strong flour, it's got a reasonably higher portion of gluten in there, so a higher percentage. But a lot of breads now, a lot of flours are sort of low gluten levels. And they did a little test and added some extra gluten to some weak flour, some standard shop bought flour, and it did have a much better rise, which is interesting because obviously a lot of people sort of don't use. I know we've got the two ranges of breads. We've got the gluten free and we've got the gluten side of it. It's the gluten that actually creates and helps create the bubbles and creates the rise within the bread. So if you ever sort of like wondering, and not all gluten is the same. This is I've learned this the hard way. There are different grades of gluten as well. So we didn't realize that there's different percentages, and the higher the percentage of gluten of the protein value, the better the bread. So if you ever see some, hi John, if you ever see some gluten that is unusually cheap, be prepared. It's probably not got a very high protein level, and it can cause flat bread. It can cause very, very dull looking and not very risen breads. Right. Okay. What's this? So what's this about you watching weird videos online? And it's just bread. Generally, bread, motorbikes. Yeah, bread and motorbikes actually. Yeah, I've seen a really, really, really nice motorbike recently. It's like, Maybe. Right. Okay. So let me just. So we do a keto diet for 6 weeks, but my mouth feels really dry in the morning. Is that normal? Yes, that's ketosis. So you produce 3 ketones. One comes out in urine, one comes out in your breath, and one stays in your body, which is in your blood. So beta hydroxybutyrate. So the sort of like the dry throat is ketones. You've got a good level of ketones. It does tend to pass. You don't experience it forever. I would say make sure that you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're taking plenty of electrolytes. This is the early stages of you being in ketosis, and the body's still producing lots of ketones because it doesn't understand how much you need right now. You will adapt to it. So the sore throat, the dry throat, is just you producing ketones, and that's how one of them escapes. Try not to get breathalyzed at the moment because it might trigger the machine. I'm just going back up. Doesn't make sense. He cooks it overnight. Oh, that's what. Oh, nice. Why is gluten bad, or is it just if? Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it is an allergen for one. It can be an inflammatory. Not in everyone. Okay, so it's the way it's broken down by the body. It is not digested easily by the body, and the problem is that most processed foods will contain some form of gluten, whether it be wheat flour, whether it be straightforward gluten, because it's a thickening agent as well, so it really helps bind. And our consumption in Carby world, consumption of gluten has obviously risen quite sharply. Obviously, when you're following low carb, then you can consider gluten to be, as long as you're not allergic to it, you can consider gluten to be a suitable replacement. If you're following keto, then the idea about removing the inflammatories, well, there you go. There's the purpose of not eating gluten or not eating, those types of breads. There's lots of breads. I mean, again, we've got the 2 primary sort of types of bread on the website. So you've got the gluten-based ones, and it is the one that sort of looks and shapes like normal bread. It's Spice Girls are back. It does taste different, and gluten is quite chewy. So again, for anyone that's just starting style, and if you switch from buying a packet of soft white rolls that are Warburtons to buying it, or even making your own sort of low carb loaves, which is a high gluten, the difference is mostly texture, because the soft white rolls have 0 resistance to them, whereas the gluten has quite a lot of resistance. So it's quite tough. So it can be a bit of a jaw workout. So if you ever made your own, or if you ever bought some, the best way of actually enjoying them is just quickly reheat it, just quickly toast it, or quickly, pop it in the oven and bake it again, and just, it softens up, a lot just after a couple of minutes. Right. So gluten-free, I will just no, because you've obviously not tried the Panda. So seriously, I mean, gluten-free in the supermarkets, absolutely, it's diabolical. I mean, I picked up a loaf recently, and it was like a house brick. And believe me, I have made loads of house bricks over the last year or so, trying to get Panda right. However, right now, with the way it's being made and what we're producing, it's as light as anything. So the Panda range, and no news on Polar at the moment, John. I've not had time to even do a second experiment on that, purely because the Panda side is well, if you haven't tried it, Kat, it's like saying, well, I don't know. You have to try it. You have to try our gluten-free, because it's completely different. It's totally different. Why is it called Panda? It's a great question, Shelley. It's called Panda because it has bamboo fiber in it. The primary ingredient is bamboo fiber. So obviously the primary ingredient in the low carb loaves is gluten. But pretty much everything that we class under the Panda range, and that's the bread, the rolls, the pizzas, the wraps, the pastries, the pancakes. Come on, folks, help me out. What else have we got with Panda? They are all formed from either the Panda flour, or bamboo is the primary ingredient. So in the Panda bread, bamboo is the first ingredient. Well, no, it won't. John, sorry, Alan. No, Panda will never be in the library. It's a protected recipe. There's all sorts of reasons why, but I can't publish that recipe. And I'll be honest, Alan, you won't be able to buy the ingredients. I would need to sell you the independent ingredients because you cannot get the same quality bamboo fiber that we do. And again, there's differences between gluten, and there's massive differences between bamboo fiber. And I think I'm one of the only people that imports it into the country in the form that it's in the volume that it's in as well. You should have seen the last pallet that turned up. It was about, because it's so light, a standard pallet stands at about, I'd say about 6 feet, probably just a bit taller than me, but you know what I mean, a sack height taller than me. Because Panda is so light, it was double the height, and it was still only half the weight of a normal pallet. So it was about 15 foot high. I had to get I had to get on a forklift to move the top ones. What's the difference taste between Panda? They are totally, completely different. You can't even compare. I would say the Mega, the gluten-based version, it's still got seeds in it. So it's either linseed, or we use sunflower pumpkin seeds. So it's still a bit of a seeded loaf, both. And this is why I was trying to pie with thanks, Emma, pies as well. Yes, this is why I was trying to make a Mega without seeds. Not really worked yet. It's a bit dry. It's a bit dense. Freshly made Mega is very similar to, let's say, a lightly seeded loaf. So your white loaf with some form of seed in it, but still a whitish loaf. Panda is dark. It looks a bit like a rye bread, but it's much, much lighter. It's not got the density. Sausage rolls, thank you, Karen. Sausage rolls. So it hasn't got the density. And the thing is, it's really difficult to explain the taste because Panda's got such a collection of flavors in there. So it's made up of 3 seeds. 3 seeds plus. So it's a proper seeded loaf now, with the bamboo fiber, with egg and yogurt. So it's got loads of different things going on. Oh yeah, thanks, Karen. It's all gone quiet behind me, and I'm all right at the moment. I'm not hungry at the moment. I just took it on thinking I could eat, but I'm okay. I'll eat before the members session. Right. Let me just scroll up just a little bit. So there's lots of comments coming through, but so pies, pasties, wraps, and pancakes are amazing. Thanks, sir. Actually, it was me and Sue that first made the pancakes on a live on a what's the Sunday session called? Batch cook. On a batch cook. Oh, it was literally just a wing it. It was like, I wonder what happens if we do this, and I've been amazed as to the flexibility of the Panda flour, that I can make sausage rolls and pancakes out of the same flour. So it's very much the same as you would buy a packet of flour at the supermarket and then make your different, products at home with it. It's the same thing. The combination just works, both sweet and savoury. Can you get macadamia flour in the UK? You probably can. I've never bought it. There's a couple of companies that will, if you're ever looking for something like that, let me have a quick look now, because it's not only, they sell trade, but they also do retail as well. I'll just have a look before I give them a shout out. I mean, macadamia, you might as well just buy macadamia and nuts and blitz them yourself, because they're such a soft nut anyway. You would just need a basic food processor. Nothing too stressful. Panda is very filling. Yes, it is. Well, she's going to tell you batch cook. I know, Karen. It's been a long week. Right. Nuts. Macadamia. Style. Right. No, they don't do flour. But, I mean, macadamia are... Cat, what's wrong with macadamia nuts? I mean, I've only ever eaten them a couple of times. I love them. I do love them, but they are very, very Moorish. They're also extremely expensive. Okay. Yeah, I would just buy the nuts and blitz them yourself. Who was it last? I forgot now. Yeah, they are very expensive, aren't they? I mean, I can't remember. I think the last time I bought them in Tesco's, they don't taste like cold mashed potato at all. Honestly, can't. So I'm just going to do you a quick price comparison. Tesco, because this is the last place I bought them from. Tesco's macadamia nuts, 250 gram bag. £5.25, so £21 a kilo. Actually, okay, so the website that I'm looking at now per kilo, and bear in mind, it is more of a wholesale site than a retail site, but they do the smaller packages. So you can go and buy a kilo for 21 quid, or you can buy a 40 kilo sack, depends how much you like macadamia nuts, for £520. The difference being it's £13 a kilo. So, I tend to buy things in 20-25 kilo sacks. So yeah. So it's a company called Nuts in Bulk. Yeah, just be careful when you type it in. Nuts in Bulk, all one word, .com or .co.uk. .co.uk. So it's a company in Liverpool. They're good to deal with. They're fine. You can get loads of £18 a kilo would be good if that's right, Sandra. That'd be very good. Yeah, because you have to buy some like 10 kilos on here just to get that price. Walnut flour would be affordable. Yeah, no. Again, buy walnuts because they're so soft. You make your own flour. It's the processing that costs the money. Buy the nuts and blitz it. You can tell I'm a tight git. Fancy trying out the new, try a low carb pasta pie. Does Mega Bread soak up? Oh God, yeah, Mega Bread soaks up lots of liquid. We've made lots of things. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, if I've missed anything, I apologize. Okay. Paste. Oh, with the... Sorry, was that for you, Fee, asking about macadamia nuts? Yes, macadamia flour. Trick there is a food processor, a proper bowl rather than don't use a bullet or don't use a small one. So use a proper bowl food processor. Don't try and do too many in one go. So, maybe half a kilo max in one go. And don't just leave it running. So it's blitz, let it cool down, blitz, let it cool down, blitz, let it cool down. If you just leave it running, it heats up and you get butter. So, I mean, great, macadamia butter, fantastic, but not what you're after. So you just want to blitz it. And if you're going to use it with something else, so if you're going to, I don't know what you're going to make with it, but if there were any other flours that you could put in with the nuts, then that'll stop it from actually forming a butter. So, blitz it for a little bit and then throw the rest of the ingredients in and blitz it again. And oh my God, I can imagine typing in nuts in bulk and coming up wrong. Don't put nuts in bulk in YouTube. I'm sure it won't take you to the right place. All right. Mike, do you want to see my dinner? I've got duck breast in the pan behind me. Excellent, well done, Sarah. So I'll just highlight that because, hang on a second. There you go. Remember the feeling, Sarah. Excellent. Yeah, I'm going to show you my dinner then. Hang on a second. So it's 2 duck breasts. They're only diddy ones that I seared first, so I've got crispy skin. They're in butter. And in the butter, peppercorns and cumin seeds. So they've infused the flavor. I'll get a plate and we'll cut it open. Any advice on hot drinks out and about? Yeah, Starbucks coffee. I mean, to be fair, all right. Any of your your preferred coffee house, Americano, a tea, any of the teas, fine. You just don't want to be going for a latte or a cappuccino because suddenly you're adding in. You're adding in a huge amount of carbs from the milk. As for cream, pretty much all of them now have pouring cream. Look, I was going to leave it behind. I was going to leave it there until we were finished. But see, Mike wants to see my dinner. Let's ask the rest of the room. So let's give Claire some more advice on drinks. What do you all go for? Because I'm very boring and I literally only go for Americano. So my order, and if you're ever sort of if you're ever with me and you sort of just want to get me a coffee, it's a grande Americano, extra shot, pouring cream, please. There you go, done. What's unhelpful, Miriam? Look, perfectly cooked duck. Let me get a spoon. Look at this. This is just butter and duck juice. I mean, just with peppercorns, cumin seeds. Holy moly. Wow. Dan, the next, if they ever say to you, I've had that as well. When I went, I can't remember which one it was. I asked for cream. Oh no, we haven't got any pouring cream, but we got vegan cream. And I said to her, so that's not vegan cream isn't the real thing. Oh no, it's on the packet. It says vegan cream. I said, does it show in the packet the ingredients? And she's yes. I said, so the first ingredient is oil. Oh, I said, where do you think cream comes from? It doesn't come from a plant. Anyway, vegan cream, yeah. It's been sitting in the pan, so I just sort of Had to leave it. However, Kim, if that eating regime fits, there you go. Right. So is it okay? There's the first thing. It's okay if that's what works for you. Yeah. It's entirely up to you whether it's okay or not. Don't try and fit into somebody else's pattern. So is it okay? Well, that's up to you. 2 meals a day, absolutely, as long as you are focusing on the protein. This is my second meal of the day. My first meal was cheese and pate. And is eating in those hours suitable for you? I mean, do you feel, because you may be some days where and this is what happens, you're in a routine right now of eating 2 meals a day between 12 and 7. Fantastic. But occasionally you may not want that second meal, or occasionally you might need to eat a little bit earlier because you're a little bit hungry. So don't let that rule of I only eat between 12 and 7 and I only have 2 meals a day stop you from actually moving either side. Because if you get stuck in a routine, your body will stop responding. You have to have some days off. You have to have, as in not days off the lifestyle, as in days off the routine. Don't just stick to the same, or don't try to stick to the same thing. It doesn't work. The flexibility is what works. It's understanding that the days that you feel hungry, 2 meals on a 12 till 7 might not fit. But then other days you get to 12 o'clock, you think, well, I don't really want my breakfast yet, so I'll wait until 3. And then you don't probably want to eat again at 7. So it's understanding that, yes, it's okay to eat 2 meals between 12 and 7, providing you feel good on that. But then be prepared for the days when you're not quite wanting to wait until 12, or you don't want to break your fast at 12. So it's that flexibility part. It's the lifestyle keto rather than the rigid. Understand that you're in control of when you eat and essentially what you eat. Yeah, great. Well done, Mike. Yeah, again, if you've only been going 1 week, then I would still be expecting you to be eating 3 meals a day. The fact that that's your previous lifestyle, you're eating 3 meals a day. You're not going to change your habit in the first week. The cumin seeds are really good in here. How much protein do you aim for, as in me or you, Sarah? Because we're different. So I would always recommend, when you're starting out, to just start increasing your protein, because the problem is that most people just starting out have been living on a low protein lifestyle. So it's not an optimal amount. I can't give you an exact answer for what is optimal for you, but you really want to be looking at, if it's 3 meals a day, you'll be looking at least 20 grams of protein per meal, so 60 grams over the day. It's when you start going down in the amount of meals that you have that you really need to focus on improving the amount of protein that goes in. So hence, I've got that message still up there. How do I get rid of that now? There you go. 2 duck breasts here. They were only about, I think, just short of 400 grams between the 2 of them raw weight. No, that's a bit. No, that's not big. They weren't that big. Let's say 300. There's about 60 grams of protein there, maybe a little bit more. So I certainly had a good protein meal this late morning, early afternoon. can't remember what time it was, but it was about 12ish, I think, because they had probably had about 100, 150 grams of pate. I brought the rest home. Yeah. Yeah. So as Kat said, some days, you show. Some days don't feel hungry whatsoever, so don't bother. And that's fine. We don't need to worry about the days when and it's both. We don't need to worry about either of the days either side of the norm. So the days either side are essentially, we don't feel hungry, therefore it's okay not to eat. It's okay to sort of extend your fast for a few more hours, and then think about what you're going to eat when you do sit down and eat. But it's also okay on the days when you wake up and think, oh, blimey, I'm hungry. Don't ignore it. Don't try and sort of go, well, I'm fasting and I'm forcing myself not to eat until 12. You're not learning anything. How was the Turkish? It was great. So it was Louis' birthday 2 days ago. He's 18. And his choice for meal, and he wanted a Turkish takeaway, which was great. Love the kebabs from the Turkish. We made some flatbreads. Yeah, and actually it came with like a collection of their salads. So there was hummus on there. There was baba ganoush. There was a few other bits and pieces. We had a little bit of each. I mean, the kids ate most of it. Kids, you know what I mean. I had a little bit of hummus on one of the flatbreads that I made with some lamb kebab. It was really nice. I meant you, but I would work mine out from that because I've done high protein before. Yeah, hang on. Okay. So for me, so my protein, I don't track it anymore, but this is what I tend to do. If I'm only having 2 meals, I will aim at about 50, 60 grams per meal minimum. So, and this will, satisfy me without doubt. Two of these satisfy me. That's 60 grams. My lunch was close to that as well as, or my breakfast was close to that as well. So for me, 120 to 140 grams is my norm. Sarah, I'm not sure why somebody would say 180 to 190 because that is very high volume. I mean, that's 3 meals at 60. That's eating 3 meals like this, each day. I wouldn't be able to manage 3 meals like this. And to be fair, the only guy in the room that I know would potentially get close to that 180, 190, Dan, I know he'd struggle with that as well. 6 foot something, doing a lot of exercise now. You would have to be your height would have to be well over 6 foot to even get close to that. Yeah, sorry, Dan. I always pick on you. Sorry. The thing is with the protein, it's a range. So that 180, 190 might sit in someone's range, but it's right at the top. It's at the very upper reaches of your protein requirement. You would need to be extremely physically active. Yes, you would need to be as tall as Dan to even demand that level of protein. Your protein range down the other end probably is sitting somewhere between 60 and 70. There's your minimum end. There's your sort of like your please don't get below that on a regular basis. There'll be days when you won't get it because you may have only had one meal and you may not have stuck 60 grams of protein in there. But on average, trying to get to that 80 to 100 grams is usually sufficient for most people. Yeah. This is really good, by the way, folks. Thank you, Mike, for saying I could eat my dinner. Right, come on, we've got 10 minutes left. If there are any more serious questions, see what happens when Ella's not here. We have some serious conversation. So it's her that creates the chaos of mayhem. Not the Cat and Miriam show. Chicken thighs are definitely one of my go-tos for if I know I'm busy and I know I'm not really going to sit down and eat. I will just get a tray of chicken thighs, so a kilo of chicken thighs. I will roast them, stick some seasoning on them, and job done. Gone. Where are the dogs? Archie's down here, which means Coco is upstairs in Ella's room. So my first marathon on keto, because they were two very, very different types of fueling. I'll tell you that the first marathon was bagel fueled. I never really got on with gel packs. I'm pretty sure I definitely had I had some form of energy drink. It wasn't a can. It was a powder. It was a yeah. I can't remember now exactly which one it was, but I remember taking little sachets out with me. So my first ever marathon was fueled on probably, I mean, the day before, just ramming pasta in. And on the day, I think my first marathon was Manchester. I'm sure it was Manchester. So on the morning, travelling into Manchester City Centre, I was still eating bagels, and then did the run, taking whatever I needed to on the way around. And when you do marathons, you get offered all sorts of jelly babies and sugary sweets on the way around. My first keto marathon, which was in Barcelona, I'd given the kids, they were going to meet me at a couple of different points on the circuit, and I'd given the kids some of the chocolate muffins or chocolate cake. I made them into muffins or brownies. No, brownies, chocolate brownies. So my breakfast on that day was avocado, I think smoked salmon, and eggs. And then I gave the kids some chocolate brownies to hand to me. And I remember sort of, there's a picture of me grabbing it off Louis. I think it was about mile 16, something like that. And I ate it, but I thought at the time I didn't really need it. So, yeah, at the I suppose the thing with the fueling is that you will do exactly what you've done in training. So obviously you're going to build up your distances over the next few months. So you're going to find out what's going to work for you, whether you need to take some food out with you. And obviously there's less pressure when you're doing your training run, so you can take a belt and stick some brownies in or whatever. Or I don't know whether you can do this around your place, Dan. What I used to do, certainly when I was training clients, rather than carrying bottles of water or anything, is I would drive around the route and I would leave things en route, just over sort of walls in people's gardens and stuff like that. So I knew where our refreshments were rather than carrying anything. So you will do what you've done during training, not you won't change it for the day, and you'll work out what's going to work for you best. So whether it is taking out electrolytes, working out what type of electrolyte you're going to take out with you, where you can get tablet forms, or you can get powder. I've never tried the tablet form ones on a run, so I've never got around to buying them. But I've heard they're pretty good. There's a lot of guys in the ultra marathon group, one of the groups that I'm in, they use them, so might be ideal. I'll see if I can find the name. Where did you get? Sarah said 5'10", not 180 grams of protein. I mean, I would say yes, definitely over 100. Let's face it, I've used Ella so many times as an experiment. Ella's 5 foot, nothing, and she'll eat 120 grams of protein, between 100 and 120 a day. So please don't tell me that you can't do that when, Ella can. That's in 2 meals mostly. She'll do 60 grams of protein in a meal, 3 at a push, but she very rarely eats 3 big meals. If it's a snack, it'll be a tin of tuna. There's a great way of getting 30 grams of protein in one hit. Tin of tuna. A tuna waffle that I keep seeing floating around. I mean, one of those has got to be a good 20 grams of protein just in a single waffle. So yeah, Sarah, you don't need 180 grams of protein. Jan, I would love to get back to running. Every time I see a runner, I'm a bit jealous. But I just know right now I can't afford not just the time, but the energy into it. When I can, I will. Don't worry. I'm not finished with running yet now. I wasn't sneaking sausages into people's gardens, Miriam. It was usually bottles of water and I'm trying to think what I used to make. Anyway, just little snap bar type things. I used to go to the. Hang on, let me just put Sarah's comment up there. I used to go to the gym during the program, pre-pandemic, given those macros. But wow. Similar protein. Seriously, I mean, I don't see the benefit. If you're hungry and you're eating protein, then you will find your natural level. It'd be interesting to see where you feel good. And I'm surprised that someone's just given you a set of macros with the upper end and not the range, because it's pointless having such a huge target, because then you're gonna there's no way you're gonna be hitting on a daily basis because you just won't feel hungry. So therefore, what you're trying to force yourself to eat protein all the time, force feed yourself. How is that a good relationship with food? I must eat because I need to get my 180 grams of protein in. Less of the old. Oh, hang on. Been using just egg whites as well to bind the waffle, then the yolk from a frothy coffee. Great way of using the fat and the protein, isn't it? There's a great suggestion from Dan. Take a cow along with you. Eat that on the way around the marathon. Thanks. I'm not saying real keto. Sarah, everyone's a food addict. Pretty much everyone's a food addict. The thing is, once you enjoy your food rather than be controlled by your food, you then no longer feel guilty about it. I don't feel anything other than enjoyment eating just duck pan fried in butter with peppercorns and cumin seeds. I know a lot of people will go, yeah, but where's the, in traditional world, well, where's the veg? Where's the greens? Well, I don't need them. I'm not hungry enough to add anything more to my plate. And if it was, it'd probably be more duck. Last week I discovered stevia, erythritol, icing sugar, so I made some almond and lemon cupcakes. Next time I'll eat them. Okay. So it depends the volume that you've used. You can't use the stevia, erythritol, icing sugar in the same way as you would have done icing sugar. It's about, we tend to sort of go about 30% any of our recipes. We start there. And then if we need to add more, then maybe. But if you go 1 for 1, no, it's just a no. Thanks, Karen. I haven't tried this yet, but I intend to do it very soon. I've seen a couple of different ways of making it. Emma said she froths it, so it's in a like a frother, and then puts it on the coffee. Whereas I know some people blitz it into the coffee. Wow. Really good. Really, really good. Oh, yummy. Okay. You have a number of options here. So firstly, erythritol stevia is a blend of the 2 sweeteners. Karen, I know, but I've got to do this one. You can buy erythritol purely by itself, but it's quite a difficult sweetener to use because it's not very sweet. It's a bulking agent. So it's a dull sweetener in my brain. This is how I see it. Stevia is a super sweet sweetener, and erythritol is a fairly dull sweetener, and they mix the 2 together to get the right level of sweetness. So you can buy erythritol by itself, but it's tricky to use. You can buy xylitol. It's cheaper. Birch, is it birch? Oh, it's a tree. It's an extract from a tree. The only issue there is it's dangerous around animals, so it's poisonous to both cats and dogs. So you have to be careful. So that's available in the supermarket. You can now get, and obviously because we stock it on the website, you can now get the erythritol with monk fruit, and you can get these things also in drops as well. So you can get pure monk fruit drops. So it works exactly the same as the stevia erythritol blends. The monk fruit is the high sweet, the erythritol is the low sweet, and it works the same way. So anything that we make, we use the monk fruit erythritol blend, and we've got that at home. So, and you get it in the brown and the white, just the straightforward granulated form. If you, what's the brand? Lakanto. Google Lakanto. 731 on mine, John. But yeah, xylitol is probably the easiest one you're going to find as an alternative in a supermarket. Blue Packet, UK company. I spoke to them a couple of years ago. Small business, but really done well. Last question: do I make keto bagels? Been working on it, not ready yet. Don't have it done right, and nothing gets released until it's done right. So right, anyway, we're gonna go. Thank you very much for filling in that hour with me. Members, I'll go and open accountability. And for everybody else, I will see you over the weekend, maybe, or next week when we start doing the lives again. Not sure what's going on next week yet. I haven't got Ella with me to let me know when I've been rotated on. Other than that, have a nice weekend. I'll see you later. Bye.